Hey guys, Connected Textures here. Welcome back to another redstone video. I haven't done this in a little while, so it's nice to be back in the swing of things. This here is a multi-floor water elevator with an upside and a downside. No, not as in pro and con. I mean direction of travel. So if we come down here to the first floor and want to go, let's say, like the 6th floor, we can hop in and get out, and now we're at the 6th floor. We can wait a bit for the store to close and make our new selection, like the 4th floor. And if you notice, it's only opening the destination door and the departure side door. So if I'm below 6, it opens the left side. If I'm at 6, it opens no doors. And if I'm above 6, it opens the right door. And also, of course, it will open the destination door. So this elevator can be 15 floors tall, and the reason that is because of the circuitry in the back and how Minecraft books and lecterns work. Now, if it's just 8 floors, I did just 8 floors for this one. If it's just 8 floors, you can actually use an item frame and rotate it around in a circle to select floors, kind of like a dial or something. I chose not to do that because I like the way lecterns look better, and I didn't know how many floors I was going to do when I was building this model. So for the tutorial, I'm going to do just a 4-story one, because the first floor, 3rd floor, or I guess the first floor, 2nd to top floor, and topmost floor are all unique, while the middle floors are fine. So if yours was like 8 stories, like this one, the floors 2nd through 6 would all be the same, and the floors 1, 7, and 8 would be unique. So that's why I'm doing 4. That's the minimum number of floors to show off the tutorial for why it's different, you know? So let's get started with that. Now, because of how much goes into this build is required by its height, that changes the parts and, you know, its depth back here too. I can't really give a parts list, but what I can show is this chest, which details every single block you'll need. So you just need some amount of these blocks. I'm sorry, I don't have an idea of how much you need. So the minimum area this takes up is a 9 by 9 square, but that's only if you have 0 floors, which makes no sense. So you're going to add a block to the depth. And when I say depth, I mean horizontal depth. So for each floor you have, you're going to build it back by 1. This is the maximum, 15. So if this line doesn't count, and like this edge doesn't count, that's how I do my little selections, my outlines. So each time you go up a floor, you're also going to push this back by 1. So if you have only 1 floor, you would come out by 1. Again, that makes no sense. If you'd have 2 floors, you would come out to here. Again, why would you use this design for just 2 floors? 3 floors is when it starts to make sense. 4 and above is when it's a really good idea to use something like this. So I'm going to do 4 floors, so that's into the lime green here. Alright, let's get started with the base layout. So you're going to have 2 tubes. They're 1 by 1. The right side is going to be your up tube, and the left side is going to be your down tube, as signified by these pink arrows. And what we will do is get out some soul sand and magma. So here's going to be magma, sorry. Here's going to be magma for down. Soul sand is going to go here for upwards. And then we can surround them in, you know, your decoration. So this is kind of the base layout. It's enough to have some breathing room, select a floor, and then enter the correct door. And I'm doing the wall pattern, and you don't want this here, so let me use this handy dandy building mod I have to build diagonally. And the door frame, oh my gosh, break that. And the door frame here. And then, you know, your tubes here. So if I get out the glass, the little pattern I've been doing is, you know, a set of 3 blocks, then a line, then a set of 3 blocks. So if I just kind of build up the first example floor here, so you can all see what I'm doing. And then the next one would go immediately here, so you'd have a Minecraft standard of having a 3-block floor. So let me continue this up to 4 floors and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and I've continued the pattern up to the top floor. Also, I just realized that I left my air conditioner on for that intro bit, so I'm sorry, the audio is going to sound pretty bad there. It should sound better here, I hope. A little echoey because of where I'm positioned in this brick dorm room, because I'm at college now. As you can see with the pattern, it goes 3, 3, 3, and then 2 at the top. That's a stylistic choice because if you're in the tubes, like this. I actually didn't put the doors in, I realize. You hit the top, you don't need to go up an extra block, but you can still extend it up if you want. I don't like it because then you're bobbing in the tube. But something like this would work. Now, let me go put the doors in. It requires some wood like this. Break these two, then wood. Then we can do that on the other side. Break two, put wood, break two, put wood. And I'm only putting, you can put whatever block you want here. This doesn't matter. I realize that now. Alright, I'm going to hold off from putting the doors yet, because I want to circle around back and show you that these gaps here are intentional. We do need to utilize them for the floor selection circuit. Okay, so coming into the landings here, the vestibules, whatever you want to call them, you're going to put a button in the lower left corner, preferably wood because that'll give you a longer pulse, which means the doors will stay open for slightly longer. On this one, we don't need the timing to be as long because it's only 4 stories, and it might actually be better to utilize a stone button for a building of this size. Oh, one more. And then in the other side, your lectern. And then this is important. You need a book with exactly 15 pages. No matter how tall your building is, this book must say one of 15 or something of 15. As you can see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 empty. You don't use the rest of these. If your building is... Oh, I screwed it up. There we go. It's fixed. Whoopsies. If your building is like 8 floors, then it would stop here and the rest would be empty. If your building is 15 floors, then you would use all 15 pages. What's nice about this is if you're like on a multiplayer server, which is elevators kind of designed for, you know, a bunch of different people who need to go a bunch of different floors of a building or something like a base, I don't know. You could put description in here like this is the crafting floor or something. You could go to the next page and this is where the furnaces are. You know, you get my drift. And you want to do is you want to make copies of this book and put them in every lectern. Okay, so starting down here on the first floor, I'm just going to make these blocks red because the redstoner in me does not like putting redstone on just non-colored blocks. And I'm going to build up a pulse extender that looks like this. 4 comparators, 2 redstone here, a block and redstone on it, and then on the edge of this we're going to put a target block. And this is important because we want the redstone to point into it. If it was a regular block, it wouldn't point into it, and we want it to point into it. On the edge of this target block, we're going to put a piston and a block, or sorry, a sticky piston and a block. That way we can come here and put a comparator, space, redstone, block, block, redstone, and it should line up with the middle of your building zone. The nice thing is this little module here is the same on every floor. So if I grab the orange color for the orange floor, I can build it up again. Like this. 2 comparators facing this way, then this way, redstone, redstone, block, break this one, redstone, target block, sticky piston and block, block here with a comparator on it, block away from it with redstone, a block here, and a comparator. And in fact, we're going to put a block in front of the comparators too. Let me do that again for these 2 floors and I'll be right back. Alright, I've repeated the pattern on all the floors. Now we can come down and focus on the first one. This is why the depth matters. I have 4 floors, so I'm going to place 4 blocks. And you can I hope you can already tell the pattern. 5 floors, 5 blocks, 3 floors, 3 blocks, 15 floors, 15 blocks. You get the drift. Now, this is going to become the edge of your building zone. That's how much room this is going to take up depth-wise. On top of this, we can lay redstone. Then we can put blocks on top of the redstone and put redstone on those. This, and then one here, redstone here. This type of, I'll have a card in the corner. This type of red coder was designed by Mumbo Jumbo in one of his videos, and it's a really nice compact one. Alright, on this first floor, you're going to put all of your target blocks on the right side, because the right is the upwards direction. This symbolizes the first floor, second floor, third floor, fourth floor. We don't put one at the first floor because you're at the first floor. There would be no reason to select the first floor in the book. If you did that, you stupid. Now we can come on top of our target blocks and put our repeaters, redstone torches here, blocks here, more redstone torches, more blocks, more repeaters, more blocks. Hold on, there we go. More torches, more blocks, and you guessed it, more torches. So that's this kind of little decoding module for the first floor-ish done. Since I want to build these in layers and not repeated structures, I'm going to start tying in the door open and closing module. So to open the door, we'll run a line of blocks here and a line of blocks here. And we'll put redstone here. And now, you don't want these to connect, but because of the way the pattern works, this redstone will be cut off by the layer above it, as you can see there. Then we'll take this out by one more. Well, actually 2 more. And over by 1. We'll come out, and then run a staircase down by 2 blocks, and put redstone on top of it. And then we'll run it straight into the door. What happens is that when one of these redstone torches turns on, any of these, by the way, any of these redstone torches, it powers this, which powers this block, which would open the door if we put one there. For the downward door, we'll come out like this, come over, put redstone on top, and go up 3 times. Then we can come to the back and add 2 more and put redstone on top of it like this. That's the entire first floor module complete. Now we can move on to the second floor module. And the pattern is very similar, but like I said, first floor, second to last, and last floor are all slightly different. Well, the middle floor would be the same. So we'll run some blocks here. Now we're on the second floor. So we want to be able to select the first floor, but we want to go down. Because the first floor is below us, we put it on the left side. We don't need to select the second floor, and we need to select the third and fourth floor, which is still above us, so we put them on the right. Then we put redstone here. And wherever these connect, you take your garbage block, and you cover them up. And we'll come back above here and put a line of blocks, then a line of redstone, and redstone down here. Should be looking very similar to this redstone here. So that's lining up quite well. We'll come back on here, put repeaters. Now here's one thing to mention. We didn't need to do it on the first floor because this slot was open. But because the second floor has a first floor selector, we need to do something special with this. And we only need to do it on the first one because this redstone would run up the side and power this block, which we don't want. So we actually need this repeater to be a comparator. Then we need to put a block to the side of it and run a comparator into it. Now remember that chest I put inside? I have this little mod. It just has 1 item in it. Literally just 1 item. It can be any item that stacks up to 64. And we will put that on the back of the comparator, so it gives a signal strength of 1. Then we set this to subtract mode. Now we're free to repeat the pattern like we did down here. We can also repeat the pattern like we did below. 2 redstone torches here and here, block, repeater, torch, block, repeater, block, torch, block, torch. Like that. On the downside, it's a little different. We still put a torch here and a block here. We put a torch on here, and that's it. We're done for the little down part of this. Much like we did with red, we can do the door opening circuit. Running a line here, going up, whoops, up, up, over, and then we'll come back by 1 block, because we're 1 block in this way, in and run it along here. Now, there is a chance that if you end up building this to be 15 blocks long, you'll need a repeater at the very end of it. So redstone, there's these numbers here that I have with a resource pack. Redstone can only be powered up to 15, and you can see it's losing a bit of signal strength as it goes along. It gets down to 5. So if you are building this 15 blocks back, and in fact I kind of do it up here, you need to just insert a repeater wherever the signal strength dies. Wherever it dies out. You can see there's one here, here, here. I put it on most floors to be the same, but you actually don't need it on a lot of them. And the first floor you don't need it at all. You don't need it on the second, third, or fourth. So we don't need any repeaters on this model, but we would if we were building higher. Then we come here, put 2 blocks. Now something a bit different needs to happen here. We only open the door on the first floor if you're departing from the first floor. However, the second floor, you can depart from this door and arrive at it. You can arrive coming up from 1 or depart leaving from 2. And that means we need to close the block over your head. So if you were coming up in the water stream, you would stop here. So to do that, you go to the second floor, you go in, you go to the block above the door, you recess a piston by 1, and you put your decoration block on its face. Then what you'll do is you'll come to this open torch, and you'll run a block like this, then 1 down, then back up, all the way to your piston. Then you need to also run 1 down, so put a block here, then here kitty corner to it, and a repeater on here. The repeater is important so this line can't back power this line. We need to be able to open the door without pushing the block out. Again, much like the upwards door, this door can be arrived at and departed from. But instead of going to the ceiling, we'll come down to the floor, break this block, recess a piston, and put a magma block on it. This way, so if the magma block is extended, you can still be pulled down to this floor. If it was just a regular block, there would be no pulling, and you would just be slowly falling. So like I said, the first floor is very different, and this is pretty unprofessional of me, I'm sorry. But I forgot to put slabs in the starting chest that I put at the beginning of this video, so you also need to go run and get some slabs. You're going to put a slab here, a block here, a comparator here, and redstone here. This will open the door that's behind this block here. Okay, next what you'll do is put a block here, 2, 3, 4, 5, so you have 5 up in a row, and you'll build out here plus 1. So I want to make sure this floor is completely repeatable. You want to build this out plus 1. How did this happen? This isn't supposed to be here. So if you were building this again, if you had like 6 floors and you needed 2 more in the middle floors, your next one would be plus 1, and the next one would be like this. And the same with this. You can easily repeat this pattern just by dragging it out further. So this orange floor is your middle floor. This is the floor that you'll repeat. I'm going to put time codes in, YouTube chapters, that new thing. And you can go through and you can click on it. And you can just keep rewatching the tutorial for this floor for however many floors you need, or until you're confident enough at building the pattern. Because you could just, extend, extend how many floors you need. We'll tentatively run redstone on top of all of this. It will need to be changed in the future. Next, we're going to do something a bit unorthodox. We're going to come down here, put a sticky piston with redstone on it, a redstone block on it, and a note block above it. Yep, a note block. Then we're going to break this block and redstone, and we're going to replace it with a target block. That way the redstone still points into it. And we're going to replace this one with a repeater. So unfortunately, this kind of circuitry here has a specific pattern for when you're building up higher and you need to repeat these middle floors. If I fly around here to this model, it goes redstone, target block, repeater, redstone. We push it back a block. We push it back a block. So now it's shifted over by 1, and we add a block here. So we've shifted it back and we've added a block. Then we shift it back again and we add a repeater. Then we shift it back again and we add a block. And then if you're up to the point where you need 2 repeaters and a block, you don't need another repeater after it. As you can see up here, we've added more repeaters. We still don't need another repeater here. So it goes shift it back, add a block, shift it back, add a repeater, shift it back, add a block, shift it back, don't add a repeater, shift it back, add a block, and still not a repeater. I hope that's easy enough to follow, and I hope this visual guide should be enough if my explanation wasn't good enough. Alright, the next step is to add a block here, and then one on top of here. Redstone it, bring it around, bring it down, It is completely fine if it touches this torch. We don't need to worry about that. We'll bring it out by a block. Oh, no, we won't do that. Sorry, never mind. We'll put a sticky piston there, a comparator, and a water bucket. Now, water and redstone don't mix. Kind of like how you don't want to throw your laptop in the ocean. So be very careful. Do not crouch. If you crouch, you don't interact with the cauldron. So make sure you're not crouching, and you fill it with water. And then you quickly get the water out of your hotbar so you can't make a mistake. So this will push the cauldron over, which will be read by this comparator, and it will not power anything else around it, which is very nice with the cauldron. Alternatively, you can swap this out for a composter that is filled with stuff, any layer. It can be like just one layer, which is nice and it helps you save on the iron, but I like the way the cauldron looks better. Ignore the yellow and green. I was a doo-doo head and I built the rest of this tutorial while forgetting this step. Go ahead and put a note block here, a solid block there, and then your garbage block on top of this so you don't hear it. And then you can run... Oh, sorry, wrong color. I'm confusing myself. There we go. Then you can run redstone into that block. And with that, your middle floors are complete. And again, you can see this redstone connecting. That'll just be taken care of when we build the next floor. Alright, this is for the second to last floor. We'll put 4 blocks here, redstone on it, blocks on top, redstone on it, redstone here. And we'll put, now since we're at the third floor, we only need one on the right side, one for up. We need the 4th floor, nothing at the 3rd floor, and then on this side we need the 1st floor and the 2nd floor. Then we also need to come over here and put stone. And when I say stone, I mean any garbage block that's a full block and cuts off redstone. Like, you can't use non-full blocks, like if you're using glass, that won't work, because as you can see the redstone is still connected. So you need to use a garbage full block, like cobblestone, which you probably have a lot of by now, would be fine. Dirt, even grass, any solid block that you have a lot of and you don't care if it gets thrown away. Then we come on top of the target blocks, all but the first one with repeaters. With the first one we put a comparator, a block, another comparator, and that chest with, again, one item in it. Set it to subtract mode. Then on the target blocks we put torches, then we put blocks, and torches on top of those blocks. On this side we'll put a repeater, and a block, and a torch, and a block, and a torch. And on this side we'll just put this. Actually, we don't need to do anything here. What am I doing? Now we can add our sticky pistons right next to those redstone torches. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Right next to those redstone torches, both of them having redstone blocks on them. And then we put note blocks on top, blocks here, blocks next to them with redstone. Then we kind of take it around like this. Again, I did that same mistake again. Sticky piston, cauldron, water, block. Oh, I'm missing it. There we go. Slab, comparator, redstone. Then what you'll do on this side is build up by 5 and back, +1, and put redstone on top of them. Then we can put in our note block, the garbage block, the block here, here with redstone. So the slight difference with this last floor comes with this circuit. 1, 2, 3, up 1, and we don't go up again like this, we just take it directly over here to this torch. Again, this is only for the second to last floor. Hey, remember earlier when I said I continued on the tutorial when I forgot an important step? Yeah, I kind of did it again with this area. You need to put a line here, then dip it down 1 and back up. Put redstone on top of it. Oh, I fell down. Whoops. Put a block here with a repeater and a block. Now we just need the block stopping and door opening for this side. So again, go to the 3rd floor, or your second to last floor. Go in at the ceiling, break the block, put the piston and your decorative block. And on this side, go to the floor, place your sticky piston and your magma block. And with that, the second to last floor is complete. Now we can work on the last floor. Again, build this out by 4 blocks, putting redstone on top of them, with blocks up here, and redstone on top of them, plus here. And then since all of the floors are below us, we'll put all of the target blocks on the left side, minus the 4th floor. And in fact, because it's the top floor, you don't even need these. Just get rid of them. The top floor doesn't need to have the last one, because we don't need to send a signal to itself. Then we can put a comparator here, and repeaters on here, the comparator here, and the chest with 1 item going into it. Oh, I'm just going to give me the item back. Going into it, and then setting this to subtract mode. Alright, now we can put our redstone torches, and our blocks, and our redstone torches, then our sticky pistons. Come on now. No, that's not what I want to do. I'm messing it up. Oh no. And then our redstone underneath them. And this time we don't need any note blocks because there's nothing above them. Then we can put our blocks on top of these torches. Oh gosh, I'm doing all the wrong things. And then the last one will have a torch on the side, and the rest of them will have torches on top. Then on the rest that do have torches, you'll put your downward facing sticky pistons with redstone on them. This time we don't need any note blocks because there's nothing above here. Now we can reformat the floor underneath to use this pattern. So that way it comes out. Now the pattern that I was showing off earlier, where we push this back and add a block and then a repeater and then not a repeater, doesn't work in this case because the top floor's circuit of this is unique because of this torch here. Then we can add the torch back here, put blocks on top, on the side, over, down, just like we did before, and put your garbage block to cut these off. Alright, now we can put a torch here, put it back there, put our blocks here, put our blocks here, redstone on top of them, garbage blocks here, over and then down, like we did before. And since this time we don't have any of the pistons in the way, we can just run this straight into the door. So the door block that we can power is going to be right here. We can just go up and over. If you're at floors 14 and 15, you can turn this piece of redstone into a repeater. That way the line will still continue to be on. But since this isn't floor 14 or 15, we don't need to do that. And on this 15th floor, we don't even need this setup that I was rambling on about earlier. Because if you were on the 15th floor, you would just make this a repeater again. Slight correction from earlier, this needs to be a slab. If it was a block, it'll do funky things with this piston. And for our final step of the redstone, we can connect this door over to this torch. It doesn't really matter how you do it, so long as it doesn't connect to other redstone in the area. Now with that all in place, we can give this a literal dry run because it doesn't have water. So set that to floor 1. Nothing should happen. All it would do is open this door. Then we can wait for it to die out. We can do, floor 2. So the down one would have to close here, and we can get out of floor 2. We can go to floor 3 on this one. We should put a block there. You know what? Without the doors in place, it's kind of hard to tell. So let's get those doors in place. On the bottom left one, you want to make sure that this is a wooden door that the player can right-click in case he gets stuck. And the same with the top on the up tube. Wooden door. And the rest of them can be whatever door you want. They can be iron or whatever. Alright, there's one final step you need to do before adding the actual water. And that is to make sure that when the blocks go in, they don't remove the source blocks. So for the downward tube, we need stair here. And you could put a stair here because that'll be with the floor. So we could just keep doing that like this. Stair, stair. Actually, we don't need any here because there's no block that pushes out. So like here to here, you don't need it, but you do need it on the rest of these. Wherever there's magma, you need 2 stairs like that. There's no magma here, you don't need any stairs. And we fly on over to the up tube. We need to do the same thing. Except we need to put it above the door like this. Which does kind of look ugly from the inside because that block doesn't match the other block, but there's not much you can do about that unless you want to make your entire wall the same block as your stair block type of thing. So this one we'll put them across from each other. And again, we actually don't need one on the first floor because there would be no block pushing in here. So here and here. And here and here. Now we can add the water. Which is always a nerve-wracking part. You want to make sure every layer is a source block, that way you can be pushed. There's a trick you can do with kelp. You can grow kelp up this. You can just put one water bucket at the top, let it go down, and then put kelp in it, and it makes it all source block. But then we can do the same thing on the downwards. Making sure to put the water in the stairs. I make them stairs so that way they don't flow out the edge. So we can kind of go water, just like this. Perfect. With the water all in place, we can now give this a wet run. Which is kind of funny. Dry run, wet run. Oh, try saying that 5 times fast. All the way up to the 4th floor. The door is open for us. Yeah, down to the 2nd floor. Can you tell I've done some runs of this before because they're all at different pages? Up to the 3rd floor. Down to the 1st floor. Up to the 3rd floor. It's all working perfectly. Now, it would probably be best if we took some signs out and we went, 1, 2, 3, and 4. That way people know what floor they're at. So if I go to like 3, and it actually says 3rd floor. So that was the multi-floor water elevator. Subscribe if you want to see more. Like it if you liked it. I've been Connected Textures. See you in the next one.